Okay, Wesley. I don't know if you watched the other reviews, but the way I do this is look at your stroke, talk about some things that I think you could work on a little bit, and then anything I say, I'm gonna try to show you in my stroke, um, just for a little bit of compare and contrast. Um, so I watched you paddle a bit. Um, your stroke's good. Hold on, let me go back a little bit. Yeah, your stroke's good. Um, there's a lot of stuff that you're doing right. So like you can tell that you're getting the blade fully buried, which is good. Your weight is staying on top of the paddle when you're fully buried, so that's good. Um, or sorry, your weight's staying on top like all the way into the water, you know what I mean? So like you can see here, just looking at body positioning, like you're on top of your paddle. Um, as you're bearing, which is good because some people kind of they don't quite lean on top of the blade enough at their catch. I just want to look at a couple things for you. So first, I don't know if you watched the Jacob video. You're not doing it quite as much as he is, but actually cut. Screw this because you're actually doing a good job. Okay. Wesley, this is your video review. Um, I don't know if you watched the other ones first for Jacob and Paulo, but the way we do this is look at your stroke, talk about a few things, and then we'll compare it to my stroke just so that you can get a visual example of what I'm talking about. So your stroke's good. I like it. There's a lot of good stuff going on here. You're bearing all the way, nice and up front, which is good. Your weight's staying on top when you're bearing. That's good. All these things are good. Um, and your hips are pretty good as well. So couple things I think you can work on. Just a little one. First, it looks like you might not have your hands stacked totally vertical when you're going into the water. Um, so that's just like a little tweak. You just want to get this top hand um out over the water a little bit more, kind of over like it would just be kind of here, directly over top of your bottom hand. Um, but that's kind of like a minor thing. You can just work to kind of break that habit slowly over time. Um, the main thing that I want you to look at, okay, so your sit up, it's what I like about this is you're getting forward and you're getting down, which is good. And then you're sitting up all the way, which is also good. The only thing is your sit up is a little bit fast. So what happens when you sit up really, really quick like this, is you actually take your weight off of the blade and you want to keep your weight on the blade because it's what's helping you to pull, right? If you have body weight on the paddle, then you're basically using your body weight to kind of generate momentum. But if you're letting your body weight pop off, then you're not getting quite as much force as what you could be getting. So if you just look at this, so you're down, and then you're pretty much sat all the way up by the time you get to halfway. So here you have weight on, and then by here you kind of have weight off. And you kind of you continue to sit back, which is good. I like that. So keep that range of motion. What I want you to do is just try to slow down. You can try to slow down your stroke in general, like your whole stroke. Just try to get it a little bit slower. Um, but I want you to do that, slow down your stroke by controlling the speed of your body. Okay, so like you want to slow down the stroke by slowing down that body motion, if that makes sense. So just do this sit up motion from here to here slower, okay? And it's going to help you to, it should feel like there's more pressure on the paddle, like your blade should feel a bit stickier in the water. Um, and you might not feel like you're going faster at first, and it might not feel like you're getting quite the straight same strength. Um, but if you work on it, eventually it's going to feel super strong and you're going to feel really connected. And then you can work towards, in your new slower motion, you can work towards adding more force. Okay, so there's a difference between how much power you're putting into the stroke and how fast you're pulling. It's not necessarily the faster you pull, the stronger the stroke. Which I think you probably already know that, but just a reminder. Okay, so basically what I want you to do is try to keep your body sort of down lower for longer so that you can keep that whip kind of on top of the paddle. Um, and that should hopefully help you get more power onto it over time. Okay. So that's one thing. Stroke length is good. I think you can derotate a little bit further. Let's see if we go one stroke back. Yeah, okay, so you're stopping the rotation, and I can't tell from this angle. You might be derotating, like pushing this shoulder almost back behind you. Um, but I think you can derotate a little bit more. So try to just twist your body a little bit more and try to add a little bit more length onto that stroke. But overall, this looks pretty good. Just those two things. The hips look good. They can use a little bit of work, but just start with that. Start with slowing down the sit up a little bit and trying to rotate a little bit further. So now I'm going to show you with mine what I'm talking about. Okay, so if you watch here, I'm not dropping down quite as far as you, I don't think, but watch. So see how my weight on this pull part, I'm almost not even sitting up yet, like for this first, I guess, half, until I get to about halfway, and then you start to see me lean back to right there, right? So I'm almost finishing my sit up once the blade is out of the water. And what that's letting me do is just keep because your weight on the blade is what's generating the pressure, right? That feeling of like pushing off of something. So by keeping myself kind of low and almost rotating a little bit before I start to sit up, um, it's keeping that pressure on the paddle for longer and letting me kind of apply more power um, through that stroke. Okay, so you can see here. So I'm going into the water, staying low, staying low, staying low, and now I start to sit back, right, all the way to there. Um, and then also, if you watch my shoulders, so I'm rotated forward here, and then rotating, 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 rotating all the way back. So you can see that this shoulder is almost in front of, not almost, it is in front of, by the time I get to the back of the stroke, this shoulder is rotated forward and this shoulder is rotated back. So my chest is almost pointing like towards the camera, if that makes sense. Um, yeah, so I want you to work on those two things. And I think that'll be a good start. So just, oh, and one other thing, so you can see like my stroke, even now that I'm trying to work on accelerating the paddle, like if we just play this kind of in regular speed, let me go back a little bit. You can see like the stroke is quite slow. Even though I'm moving fast, the stroke is quite slow. And just like kind of the motion of my body is a little bit slower, where if we look at yours, you see you have a very fast body, like here. See how fast your body's moving? Which is good. I like that. That means you're accelerating. That's nice. But just try to slow it down just a little bit and try to get a little bit more pressure onto that blade.